Welcome, everybody. I'm Alfred Lambremont Webre, and it's a great privilege and it's a pleasure to be here once again with scientist Chris Burres and CEO Patty Greer. And we're talking about one of my favorite subjects. I call it Fullerines because of Buckminster Fuller, and we're on the World Good News Network, and they were named after Bucky Fuller, I believe, and I can be corrected, around the time of the Nobel Prize, but this is the carbon-60 molecule, and Chris is responsible for making them safe for human consumption at carbon-60 EVO, ESS60 products. And Patty is a woman on a mission to make this distributed throughout planet Earth. So here we are once again. And Chris is here with a special report. So Chris, over to you.
Yeah, so let me get Alfred first. Long time no see. Glad to be back with you. Thank you for having us. Let me tell you a little bit about this report. So, as just a little background, right? For maybe those who haven't kind of seen it. I'm holding up a molecule. It looks like a soccer ball, where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So it's a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. It was discovered in 1985, and the three scientists who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 1996. So a short 11 years from being discovered to being awarded the Nobel Prize. I see there in your background, you actually have Buckminster Fuller, and he's holding this dome-shaped structure. It was named after Buckminster Fuller. So one of the colloquial names is Buckyball, right? Because it looks like a ball. The other one is Fullerines. That's the whole gamut of molecules: carbon-60, carbon-70, carbon-76, 84. The test result that really changed the direction of this molecule into the supplement space. Well, first they thought it would be toxic, so they put it in this study. And in that study, and instead of being toxic, the test subjects that they gave it to, in this case it was Wistar rats, lived 90% longer than the control group. So there was a time period where I wasn't interested in being in the supplement industry. I was very happy selling, I call myself a happy-go-lucky carbon nanomaterial scientist, selling to research institutions around the world. And we were very happy with that market. It's a very exacting market. The supplement market is not as exacting as probably an incredibly fair way to say it. And so we actually didn't try to get into the industry, and really until Patty kind of got involved, people started talking about it, and that really shifted us into getting into the supplement space with this molecule. And we've got just amazing testimonials. Well, now I'm responsible for sharing the original research, responsible for kind of being the guide, the shepherd of this particular molecule. And one of the things is that, like, it's got this longevity study. And so I am becoming a longevity expert. Also something that I never kind of set out to become. And had you mentioned it, even 5 years ago, I would have been like, no, that's not my path. So I go to different conferences, and I'm at this one conference in Orlando called Biohacking Conference. And biohackers are a group of people who are looking for kind of cutting edge biomedical technology that can help them optimize their physiology, optimize their brain performance, and optimize their longevity. One of the booths there was this glycan age, and we'll jump into that. And I'm like, well, okay, well, what is it, right? Like, it's supposed to determine your biological age versus your chronological age, right? So we have this hope that I may be 54, but hopefully on the path from 0 to death, I'm more in, I don't know, the 40s instead of the 50s, right? Because that would feel very good. And it would be nice to know how you can monitor this. And so there are a couple of tests out there. There's a DNA methylation and now glycan age. So I took a test. I'm going to kind of run through the numbers of this test. And Alfred, I'm going to ask you what you might think the result is as we get close to the end. So I'd love to see your interpretation. Let me share my screen here. All right, so this is glycan age. This is my test. You can see that, right?
Right.
Yep.
Excellent. So this is my test. If we go here, what is glycan age? It's really looking at chronic inflammation and inflammaging, right? So there's this new terminology about, and this comes from the understanding of the medical community, that one of the, there are kind of two key components of aging. One of them is oxidation, which can be managed by antioxidants, and our product is a great antioxidant. And the other one is, and probably even more important, is chronic inflammation. And so that's generated this phrase called inflammaging. So this is really looking at inflammaging. Let me jump down to the bottom. We'll talk about some results here. Let's see, page 10. So a couple things. One is, well, what is GlycanAge looking at? They're looking at glycans, which begs the next question. Chris, what in the world are glycans? I wasn't even really familiar with them until I kind of started diving into the technology behind this study. Glycans, you can see, are complex carbohydrate molecules. They're as fundamental to your cells as DNA, we are familiar with that, proteins, and lipids. So we're looking at a core component of your actual cells, and what DNA age is looking at, what GlycanAge is looking at, is how these glycans over a lifespan, how they change, what their ratios change, and I'll show a little bit of that. They took 200,000 data points. They're looking at these glycans and how those profiles change. So let's we'll jump into this. That seems like the wrong. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is good too. Here are the things that would affect your GlycanAge. Let me talk about that. Natural aging, genetics, and lifestyle. Really, natural aging, that's just your chronological age. So don't have much, actually no control over that. You survive a day, you're a day older. Next is genetics. You don't really have any control over that. You can have good genes for longevity. We all know, like, there's families that tend to live longer, families that don't tend to live as long. And finally, lifestyle. So what this result is going to suggest is how my lifestyle and how the lifestyle that I live impacts my biological age. All right, so let's jump into this. I'm trying not to get too wordy, but I geek out on this stuff. So, all right, so here are some of the factors it's looking at. You can see over on this side, these are 2 galactoses on top of the Y set of circles. Is a representation of glycans in your system. So more youthful have more 2 galactoses on the ends. And so if we look at having higher percentile in this particular measurement is better. I'm in the 86th percentile, so quite a ways up there. I think that's technically a B plus, something. It depends on the grading system, right? Next one is sialic acid, and you can see it's that same Y glycan with the galactoses on top of it, and then a sialic acid molecule on the top of that. In this case, higher is better, and I'm in the 98th percentile, so couldn't be much better. Only 2 percentile room for improvement. Just a note, these are anti-inflammatory indexes. So how good is your anti-inflammatory status? In my case, you can see pretty phenomenal, right? An 86 out of 100 and a 98 out of 100. Next, we're going to look at pro-inflammatory indexes. So this is looking at how inflamed are you? How much chronic inflammation do you have? And it's important to note, our product, we can say that it's an anti-inflammatory as it relates to exercise-induced inflammation. We're not allowed, and this is kind of FDA mandated, and it's the right decision, to talk about inflammation in any other regard, because that starts to talk about chronic inflammation, which is associated with diseases. It's actually associated with Alzheimer's, arthritis, a cardiovascular disease, even into cancers. And so that's a lot of what this study is covering. And again, we can say we're an anti-inflammatory, at least as it relates to exercise-induced inflammation. So in this particular case, we're looking at how on these glycans, it's missing galactoses. So in this case, lower is better, and I'm in the 2nd percentile. So again, only 2% room for improvement on that particular measurement. So that's obviously pretty good. And then finally, we have lifestyle. This is a bisection. So you actually get your glycans will get bisected. In this case, I'm in the 39 percentile. Lower is better. So I'm a little bit under midway, which is good. And if you look at the next one is how many of your glycans have 1 galactose on them. And in this case, it's really looking, I don't think it's this one. It's actually, if we go up, one of these is more focused on your genes. So you don't really have any control over it. I don't see it there. I'm a little surprised. But even with this one, I'm on the 44 percentile, just below the midway point, right? So just to recap, I've got an 86%, a 98%. I've got a 2% where lower is better. I've got a 39% where higher is, where lower is better. So on the right side of the middle, and then I'm at 44% where higher is better. I'm on the wrong side of the middle. So just to guess, Alfred, if you were to guess based on these kind of results, I know you don't know anything about like this, but what biological age would you suspect that I am based on this?
This is so far above my glass ceiling that I have not grokked it. I just have not grokked it. The only comparable thing that I can say is that is that my primary care physician told me that I had the blood of a 25-year-old man. So that, so if there's any comparable thing there, but somehow I must be dense or something, but I must have been, but I this is not penetrating my analytical mind at the moment.
I understand. Use your result from your blood test to just venture to make a guess. These numbers look good. You have your result. Throw out a number because you can't be wrong.
I think that you're 25 to 30 years old in your
biological age.
Yeah, but biological age, because because you and I are both users of Fullerines. I'm just going to use that word, and so they would have similar effects. So I'm just saying that.
All right. Well, here's the big reveal.
21. Oh my God. Biological age is 3 years younger than your chronological age. So kaboom, 21, where to go? So you're legal. So you're legal.
I'm saying, right. That's kind of a running joke. It's like, I don't know if I want to be any younger because then I can't, can I still drink if I'm under 21 biologically?
So listen, you're 21, but I'm 25.
we should go drinking.
Yeah. Hey, look, this is, what are people who are tuning in today going to think? Are they going to think? Are they going to go, oh my God, run, don't walk to your nearest internet, to your website, and we can go right now. let me just share screen and go right here, just so that we oops, wait a minute. I just let me just share right here.
I do want to say that the two of you, Alfred, for your age of 81, I just think you're incredibly youthful. And with Chris, I never see him get sick. He runs like crazy. I'm one of his many businesses, but when I look at his face on the air, he looks younger all the time. And what we're doing in common is taking C60 Evo. So it is showing results through biological testing, which I think is really impressive. So here we have our lineup of products that for men, women, dogs, cats, horses, bunnies. really amazing products, and they are all based on the ESS 60, which is pure C60, carbon 60, the miracle molecule. Our lab is the only one in the world that's been making it for 32 years with integrity, selling to research institutions around the world. And it wasn't until the last 5 years we really mastered the upgrading the quality of the product to be safe for human consumption. And a lot of products online, unfortunately, they may or may not be industrial grade C60. We also sell that for batteries, ink, solar cells, tires, but we don't sell it for people. We only sell ESS 60. So you want to note the difference. Don't be taking industrial grade unless you're a walking, talking battery. So starting on the left, the purple bottle is our strongest. It's C60 Evo olive oil. It's got 0.86 milligrams per milliliters. And when we say that, we test every batch before it goes out the door. We mean it. It's got 0.8 milligrams per milliliters or a little more. The avocado oil, very delicious, has 0.6. And the MCT coconut oil has 0.35 milligrams per milliliters. Lovely day, lovely way to start the day. Pour a tablespoon in your coffee or a teaspoon of the MCT. I have found that I barely need any other Evo during the day, except that I did a show right before this and I thought I was unplugged. Like, oh my God, I have no energy. Where's my brain? And so I took a tablespoon of the olive oil, which I rarely do in the middle of the day, but I did it. And now I'm on show number 2 and I'm wide awake. The stuff really works. If you're exhausted, if you are hungover, go for it. So those are the 3 edible oils. Take them on a teaspoon, tablespoon, or rub the avocado on your avocado toast. You can do the MCT in your coffee or tea. Wonderful. Then next comes the Advanced Facial Serum, which is an incredible formula that has 21 natural organic and vegan ingredients. Great for your face, great for scars and wounds. And people are sending us tremendous testimonials with the word love, 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 really a lot on that formula. It's got a base of chia seed oil, really unusual in the face oil world. And it's finished with a rosemary essence that just makes it smell wonderful. Next to that is our 2-part facial serum for more lines, wrinkles, and it's got a 2-bottle set. One of them is the ESS 60 formula, and the other one is a UTH29 peptide. And the reason we have 2 bottles of that, and across there's a green one for the hair renewal, is because we didn't want to use emulsifiers. So you mix it in your hand, a couple blops of each of them, and you activate it fresh, put it on your face or put it on your head for your hair. And you're going to see incredible results with the addition of peptides plus the ESS 60. In the middle, we've got 2 flavors of lip balms that are infused with ESS 60. And you're going to see probably the most moist lip balm. Our first formulator used to work for chapstick, so she knows what she's doing. And I said, nothing, not organic. Got to keep it super clean. So it is really clean. Your lips are banging. I mean, just beautiful, soft, and it lasts for a long time. There's a mint and an unflavored. To the right is the hair formula for people that got that flu thing in the last few years, or got the needle in the arm and lost a bunch of hair all of a sudden. This formula is getting really rave reviews. And we recommend that you massage your head before you put it on. Typically at bed is great because then the oil won't come out. And you massage your head and then you activate the 2 formulas together, put it on your head, go to sleep, and hopefully wake up with thicker, more amazing hair. Alfred has had incredible hair growth. Your ponytail goes down below the end of the screen. It's quite impressive. And then to the right, we have the big fat bottle of the olive oil, and we made them in capsules so that it's for people that travel or for people that don't like the taste of oil. It's a wonderful solution. You can just take a baggie with you in your briefcase, your car, your purse, but they're really portable, and they have the same boost as the olive oil. So That's our strongest. And then the last two are the dog formula, which is the olive oil plus bacon essence. Dogs love it. And we have a cat formula, which has salmon essence. And it's also the olive oil because it is the strongest. And the reviews that we get on pets, you know, pets don't lie, but we've gotten these people that say, oh my God, you brought him back to life. You guys, how can I thank you enough? I had to carry the dog down the stairs to go to the bathroom. Now he's bounding up the stairs. So really wonderful when people see their pets happy and healthy again, it helps for them to be happy and healthy again. So if you buy more than one item at a time, we offer all these gift collections. You can see the web special, buy two capsules and get the third one at half off. Pretty much most of the things you buy at checkout, you're going to get that option. Buy two, get the third for half off. And who knows what's coming? You know, it might be a good idea to stock up. If you buy a set, which is couple items at a time, you'll save 15% off each item. If you want to go down the page, Alfred.
Sure. Let me get this down. So tell me, is that where you'd like to go, or?
Yes, these collection sets are just groupings, and you can buy one item or you can buy a group. But if you buy a group of two or more, you're going to get 15% off each item, no matter what you buy. If you sign up for a monthly subscription, you're going to save 20%. Thank you. So, and you can combine, you know, if you get a set for 15% off each item and you do it monthly, you'll get another 20% off. And for dessert, use Alfred's code to get another 10% off at checkout. So there's all kinds of ways to save money. Some people, when they initially think, oh gosh, it's so expensive, it's like, what's your health worth? And I find that a lot of people start using the olive oil formula or any of the formulas, they end up tossing away most of their supplements that really didn't do much. This is noticeable and you can really feel it. So let's go down the page a little further. We have sampler sets, which are really great because you can get one of each flavor, 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce bottles. And again, you're going to save 15%. We do have specials on the big bottles all the time. They're 32 ounce, which is a really great stash size. Our oils will last 2 to 3 years from opening. You don't want to let them be in direct sun, like a window, or direct heat next to a stove or oven. You just want to keep them in the shade on a counter or in a cabinet, and they'll last 2 to 3 years. So further down, we have different sizes. You can get 2 ounce dozens, 4 ounce single or whatever you want, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, 32 ounce, and capsules also for the olive oil, which has been an amazing repurchase. These subscriptions, we have very few people that cancel, but it's a good idea to start that way. You'll save 20%. If you don't love it, drop us an email, give us a call. Our customer service team is wonderful. They're not going to talk you into anything. They'll just say, okay, no problem. And they'll cancel your subscription if you choose. Most people don't. And then here we've got the pet lover set, which, my God, we are just really selling a lot of that because people are seeing their dogs and cats anti-aging just like they are. So we call it the pet lover. And it's a 4 ounce for you and a 3 ounce for your pet. If you prefer to have a bigger bottle for you, just buy the pet formula and then buy yourself whatever size you want. And then the biggest deal of all is 25% off case of 12. And you'll save wonderful money there. And gosh, if you use Alfred's code, which is EV for Evo, ALW for Alfred Lambremont Weber, you'll save another 10% at checkout. We see a lot of dozens go out the door. You can split it with your family, share it with a friend. But again, just keep it out of direct light and heat, and it'll last just perfectly. The only time we do 2 ounce bottles, which are little teeny samplers, are by the case. And you can buy a flavor or you can buy a mixed case, but you'll save an awful lot of money at 25% off plus Alfred's code. And you're going to get your money's worth because you're going to feel better, sleep better, and look better.
Yeah. So, Chris, at these international meetings or at these leading edge meetings, how are people reacting to the Fullerene, to the C60? Are there any stories that you'd like to share, or?
Well, yeah. So first thing, it's a very interesting group of people because I'll hand them a sample and they'll take a sample. Let's say I was handing them this sample. They take the lid off and they start drinking and they're like, "What is this?" They are an extremely experimental bunch of people. Here's the reality. If you want to talk about longevity, right? So that's one of the purposes of biohacking.
Mhm.
I think you could break it into two, which is, hey, if I'm just going to live to the average of approximately 82, 83 years old, if that's all that's going to happen, I just want to live it as healthy as possible. So how do I manage that, right? And then the other is, well, great, if I can live that healthy that long, can I extend it? And I only want to extend it if I can be healthy. If you think about molecules, we'll just like open up the entire floor to all molecules that have ever been tested from a longevity perspective. We do have to narrow it down, right? So we'll talk about mammals. We're mammals, so that's a smart narrowing down. The single longest longevity experimental result on mammals, we can also narrow it down to peer-reviewed published research, because that's what the research we hang our hat on. So the single longest longevity experiment on mammals, the result ever in peer-reviewed published research, is on our molecule, on our ESS60 molecule. And so when I share that with people at these biohacking conferences, I'll say about 40% of the people are aware of the molecule, right? Because it's such a cutting edge molecule. That's these types of groups. But if you look at the next best way to live longer, right? So, hey, great, you've got this 90% extension of life. That's amazing. What else is out there? The next best way to live longer is CR, or calorie restriction. If you reduce your calorie consumption by 30%, you can extend your life by 30%. I call that the starve yourself 1/3 to death diet. And is, for whatever reason, not that many people are signing up for the starve yourself 1/3 to death diet. Maybe they need better marketing. Maybe who knows what they need. But that's only a third, a 30% extension of life, not a 90% extension. Now we can't claim that in humans because there's more testing that needs to be done. But that's an extremely long way to say, Alfred, that they're extremely excited about this molecule because it is responsible for the single longest longevity experimental results in history.
As a futurist, which that was part of my profession in life when I went to Stanford Research Institute, and we would do research for the U.S. government, and they would give out contracts. It's a great puzzle to me that you don't have governments that are saying, here is this discovery. Our job in life, our job description is to improve people's lives. And here we have a population that, the life expectancy is, let's say it's in the 80s or whatever the life expectancy is. And, if so, instead of spending all this money on figuring out how to kill people, billions and trillions of dollars on how to kill people, let's figure out on how to double the life expectancy so that, people can live until they're 200 years old, 250 years old, like they do on most advanced planets. And I say that because part of my work is on exopolitics and how they live on other planets. And about half the people watching this are going to go, oh yeah, the other half might say, oh, but so what do you think it's going to take for the societies to start acting rationally around the fullerene molecule? I know that that's kind of a strange question,
Yeah.
but it's the question that I, as a futurist, that's the natural question that I ask.
I think so I'm gonna kind of postulate on a couple of things that you mentioned. So one is, let's spend less on killing other people and more on living longer. I think that happens when humans stop acting like humans, right? Like when humans start acting like humans and not acting like demagogues. And as soon as we're able to get rid of that part of the population, which I don't think we're going to do, then people can spend less time defending themselves and more time thinking about how can we collaborate and how can move on. So that's I think a fundamental, like what could be argued as a fundamental flaw of human nature. Not every human's nature, but the fact that you get these outliers who, like take over countries and do bad things to their people and the people around them. You've got to be able to defend yourself against those, right? So that's one piece, unfortunately. I think the other is we are, as a government, investing in aging. They're just currently doing it wrong. And so let me speak to that. There are a number of diseases associated with aging, right? So you've got the classics: Alzheimer's, arthritis, you've got cardiovascular disease, you've got cancer. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of the key ones. Those are ultimately the primary killers. And currently, because at least the medical community doesn't think of aging as a disease, you can't get funding on aging, right? Like you can get private dollars, but what's happening is all the funding. So let's change the way we might approach it. If we could solve aging, it is kind of well understood that we would end up solving, arthritis, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. So now we've got these different buckets that we're investing in. What if we said, okay, well, aging is the real problem, and aging is in fact something that we can address. Let's take those 4 buckets, put them into one. Because right now, if you just remove cardiovascular disease, you don't extend human life by very much, right? You extend it a couple of years because the next one on the list takes the person out, right? Like that's just the reality right now. So solving any one of these doesn't buy us that much value. But if you go and address actual aging, that solves all of those. Maybe solve is an aggressive term, but it really starts to address each one of those individual diseases associated with aging. And I think, we're in the middle of a transition where we're starting to think about aging as a disease and as something that can actually be addressed. You look at the book by Dr. David Sinclair called Lifespan. The subtext is why we age and why we don't have to. It is a great book about, not surprisingly, why we age and why we don't have to. And really, the book was written to lobby for the medical community to start looking at aging as a disease that can be addressed, so that then we can get funding for aging, and then ultimately that can solve the diseases of aging.
Now, would it make sense? And I know that, but so would it make sense, since you're in Houston, and I know that in Houston and Dallas, it's an area of a very advanced medical establishment. And this is just hypothetical. I used to run in the 1990s. I was an administrator of an award-winning, federally qualified community health center down in South Texas. So we know all about the medical establishment. Does it make sense then to start educating the medical establishment starting in Houston, starting in Dallas, so that they then, because I think you put your finger on it, and start educating them as to C60, etc. And Patty is looking and saying, wow, yeah, that's a great idea. Over to you guys.
Yeah. So what I would say, and I don't know if Patty, if you have something to say, I'll let you go first.
Well, I was going to change the subject slightly because for me, it's about consciousness. Like, how are we going to get this out to the world? For me, it's about consciousness. It's about people taking their health into their own hands and saying, I choose to feel better. I choose to heal myself, whatever it takes. And for people to be willing to try new things. And there's so many things that don't work that I think people get pessimistic. But when I look at you and I realize, look at your hair growth since I've known you the last 4 years, especially, and you're 81 and you have put out volumes of books, ESS 60. Chris is 54, looks like he's barely old enough to get into the bar. And if he took his glasses off, he still looks way too young to be 54. So for me, I look at the people selling it and taking it. Spiritually, energetically, I go, do I want to evolve like that? Or do I want to, and I think that's the consciousness choice, is that people are saying, oh my God, look at the world, look at the sky and the water and the food. What can I do? Very simple solution. You put it on a spoon in the morning and you put it in your mouth. The difference in my life has been tremendous. And I do have my bucket of all my supplements that I take once in a while, but the Evo every single day. I wake up, I can't wait to do my submarine size cuppy of coffee. It's just wonderfully big and it's full of all kinds of food, but it's also got a tablespoon of the MCT coconut oil, and it gets me going for the whole day. People that call me on the phone before noon, they're always like, they're either jealous or they're like exhausted because I'm so wound up. I'm so, because it really gives energy. When I say 2 hours ago, I thought I was unplugged. How am I going to do these 2 shows today? I'm on fire. So I swear by it. But again, personal testimonial. The guys at the lab in Texas, they do all the work with the mixing and the shipping. I just come up with, ooh, I like this product. And then I go to the formulator and I figure it out. And so we've really expanded our line more than any other carbon 60 fullerene companies that I know of. But every product has a purpose. It's not like the same products, like each one does something different for the body. And we're not able to find anything it doesn't fix. So yesterday, I went to the dermatologist and I have gone through a pretty major challenge ever since somebody left uranium in my garage. Not a very smart person, but they wanted me hurt. So all of a sudden, I'm detoxing and I'm getting these things on my skin that need to be cut out. And I had 5 of them. So yesterday I was like, oh God, and she says, look at you, you're totally clean. There's nothing I even want to burn. So it took me 4 years to detox from uranium intentional poisoning. I'm kind of proud of that because it was showing up in skin cancers, which I've never had. And so all of a sudden, she does full body every 6 months. And she just was like, wow. Normally she has things that she freezes, on my face and all that. And she couldn't find a thing to do. So, for me, it's physical and it's mental, whereas my endurance mentally is not like it's ever been before. But I also have faith that I'm going to be able to heal from these incredible challenges that I've been through. And I know you have also, Alfred, with your eyes. So you sent a great testimonial because we've dealt with some really tough, nasty people that didn't like the fact that we hold wisdom that they don't. And so what do? They try and lower our frequency. But I think we won the war because God always wins and we have Evo.
Yeah.
So that's how I.
Yeah. And I think that what Patty just said, Chris, really reinforces that educating the medical establishment to begin using C60 Evo, ESS 60, safe for human consumption fullerines. If they go, oh, this is a new invention and start using it in their protocols, that is what is, I'm just saying. Anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely moving in that direction. Really, it's, taken a number of years to really get our feet under us as a company that's in a position to do research, to continue to drive research, for Patty and I to get on shows like yours, and educate as many people as we can. And it's going to be through those efforts that we're going to make contact with the medical community. Because right now, blind dialing for doctors or dialing for medical researchers is probably not the efficient way to do it. It's actually getting on shows where some medical professionals are going to tune in and check in. So that's the approach right now.
Yeah. You might, I don't want to, press it, but you might even think about delivering a paper at scientific conferences. I mean, I'm just kind of,
Yeah, that's definitely on the radar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Our lab is doing more research than any other carbon-60 company by far. Chris is writing a book. They're writing papers.
Oh, great. Yeah, that is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
I am, it's the spirit of carbon-60 that's urging Chris and Patty on, that's saying, hey guys.
And the energy that it gets us is pushing us forward too.
That's right.
Yeah, great.
So
Yeah,
stay
good.
young, stay healthy, stay well, and keep your mind as clear as possible. Hold on to your faith is what I'm telling everybody right now, because it's kind of tough out there, but it's not tough in here if you take good care of yourself.
Well, I just like to say that today I completed the first draft and gave it to my editor of my 25th book on Amazon. Boom!
Yeah. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Very cool.
Thank you. And I credit that to having in my system, I can't wait for the science to really say what that's doing. And I think that the study that you quoted earlier is beginning to tell us how it is that happens, because it is like, we reach for words like miracle because we don't have, we're just starting now to learn what the science is. And so thank you very much for quoting that study. And I'm sure that people are going to be looking at that video, and that people who are on the edge, because now humanity is waking up. That's what's happening now. And so there isn't anybody that wants to plug into the matrix and stay with the old now.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're almost at the 3/4 of the hour mark, which is a record for us, I guess. So are there any words that you'd like to leave with us, or?
Really just thank you for giving us a voice to an audience. And you're right. Hopefully there's some medical professionals out there who are interested in doing some studies, and they can reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Also, you've got a highly conscious audience, and I just want to encourage everybody to really pamper yourself right now through these difficult times. And this is such an easy thing to do. You take it on a spoon. If you had seen me 2.5 hours ago, I didn't think I had a chance of I was going to call Chris, oh, you got to do the shows for me. But no, one swig of this, and I knocked it out of the park. So I'll take a nap after this. But yeah, I've had a little bit of a challenge lately. They just lit up all our cell towers, and now nobody's sleeping in the neighborhood.
My God. Oh my God.
It's what it is, but you take Evo, you do your best, and you speak nicely to the world. And that's the best we can do.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much for what you're doing, because you're making all the difference in my life. And I urge everybody listening to get on the C60 flow. And now.
Yeah. The better you feel, the better you are in the world. Thank you, Alfred. We love you.
Thank you. And it's returned. Okay.
Take care.
Until our next one. Thank you.